Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Talk Scottish Football, Tuesday the 22nd of June 2021. It's the day of all days. We find out tonight what happens with Scotland in terms of the Euro 2020 campaign. Will we make it through to the last 16? Well, we'll find out. I'm happy to be joined by, I would say, a full house. It's not quite a full house, but there's 4 of us on screen for a change rather than 3 as we discuss, well, quite a lot because, let's be quite honest, we missed the coverage of what was, at one point, the biggest game in our national team's history. But that's now replaced by tonight's game, which is the biggest game in our national team's history, well, recent history anyway. I'm joined by Ryan McGinley. First of all, Ryan, mate, how you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Still quite buzzing after Friday, I've got to be honest. I was absolutely buzzing in the pub watching us do so well against England. I thought we were unlucky not to win the game, to be honest. We were a better team over the course of the 90 minutes. But I am buzzing for tonight, buzzing to watch the game in a pub again. I'm quite excited to see how we get on.
The alcohol consumption levels throughout the entire group chat must be at a record high. But at least you didn't have to pay £27 for a bottle of Buckfast or $6.50 for a pint of that with that pack. Div, you're here. I don't know if you were as rat-arsed as the rest of us, but an enjoyable weekend.
Aye, mate. I was away with the fairies because obviously I was up early, wasn't I? Because I had to go and do my live TV appearance. So. There we go. I was up at 4:30. Hardly did any drink. Right? I had like seven cans or something like that, and I was hanging the next day. I was fucking hanging. I've no idea why, but I just was.
Well, I mean, it was a weekend to celebrate. You're allowed away with it. But you were on Good Morning Britain. It's a shame Piers Morgan's not still there because you could have a wee word with him.
Aye. He was supposed to show up and we were going to have a naked boxing fight, but never arrived. I think he heard that Beans was coming and he shat it. So
I shat it. Fair play. And then finally joined in the bottom corner there by Mr. Callum Craig. Callum, you're looking forward to tonight, mate?
I think after another night, I'll hopefully be celebrating it the same way I celebrated the England result. I think you just need to go in as positive as possible. I think there's no point getting many negatives, is there?
Nah, there's not. Look, we had our struggles in the opening game. We managed to bring the English down to earth a little bit with that draw the other night. And now, hopefully, it's the final piece of the puzzle. Hopefully, we win because we now know the kind of the structure now. We know that if we win this game, we make it through to the last 16. We can't draw. We can't lose. If we do, we're out of the competition. We've been handed a very good scenario in which 3 points sends us through to the next round. So we'll come on to that. But because we have missed quite a bit, I want us to start off with the England game on Friday night. Now, I had the time of my life down in London. I must admit, I'm very sad to be back. Being in Leicester Square, John McGinn owes me a new fucking voice box, to be quite honest, with the amount of times I'm singing his name. Div, Friday night's performance, I was extremely proud of the lads. I thought it was of course we never got the 3 points, but going into that game with the media being the way it is and going into that game against an England side which is filled with quality, to walk out being what I still believe is the better team, we can take a lot of positives from Friday night.
Not just the media, but the majority as Scottish fans after our first performance. Well, I mean, we did the reaction to the Czech Republic game and we were totally down our spirits. And you were trying to pick us up and try to be positive. I don't know how much of that was just blind optimism, but you turned out to be right. Steve Clarke made changes, which was bold of him. He brings in Billy Gilmour for the start, but he also sticks by his man Stephen O'Donnell. And you've got to do credit where credit's due because he's went for being one of the worst performers that I've seen to one of the best in the tournament. He was outstanding, and to a man, I think they were brilliant. In the first half, it was each a peachy in my opinion. Both of us had opportunities, but in the second half, we had them pinned back for a good 25 minutes and we were dictating the play. So we were. And at the end of it, I think Andy Robertson even says post-match, he thought that we were the better team, and I totally agree with him there. We were just missing that wee lucky bounce, the ball just falling to one of our strikers or a falling to a guy like John McGinn. We just didn't get that. Like, even the Stephen O'Donnell one at the back post where Kieran Tierney gets up, who I thought made a massive difference as well. Even if that's just a wee yard to the right or whatever, Che Adams is just heading that into the net. So I'm hoping tonight that we just get that luck, guys, because we've had the most shots out of anybody in the group. We're just needing that wee bit of luck, man, and I think we can get goals.
Yeah, it's finding the back of the net that's been the issue for Scotland, and I can put a lot of it down to bad luck, I feel like, because there were so many chances for us over the course of both games where I feel like, any other team would have had that in. It was just typical Scotland. I know we always say that, but it felt like typical Scotland. McGinley, Dev touched on the middle of the park there and what he was saying. I thought we were absolutely fantastic in the middle of the park on Friday night, and that mostly comes down to one man. And very quickly, before we go any further, we've got a first donation. We've had $8 Australian by Michael Harrison. He says Forrest has to play, boys. Don't know if you'd agree with that. Forrest has to play tonight, but thank you very much for the donation. We'll come on to who we think should play later on, so we'll save that for then. But thank you very much for the donation. It's much appreciated. If you do want to donate, make sure to head over to the super chat part of the channel and you can get involved with your comment on screen. But McGinley, the middle of the park was fantastic, and one man stole the headlines. And honestly, I don't want to overhype him, and I don't want to sell him too far. I think he's world class. I think he's absolutely world class with Billy Gilmour. And look, there's a lot to talk about. We'll come on to Billy Gilmour because, of course, we found ourselves in a scenario in which we never wanted to be in. But in terms of Friday night, that middle of the park, and especially him, they were just to a man, to a pass. Everything was spot on.
Yeah, we had the better midfield at the two teams, I thought. I don't know what England were doing, playing two defensive midfielders, but we seemed to have the better of them for the majority of the game. I thought Gilmour was outstanding, the way he just sort of had Mason Mount in his pocket. Maybe that's why he's isolating, because he's been in his pocket for 70 minutes. I thought the midfield three were great, and then McTominay behind them as well was kind of moving into the middle, and then you had Tierney moving forward as well. But McGinn and McGregor were great as well for Gilmour. There was a good wee balance to the team, and it certainly worked out in our favour. I think Gilmour's going to be in the team for the next 10, 15 years. I think he'll earn over 100 caps. He's that good.
Yep, that's what I said. Straight after the game finished, we were in the pub, and I honestly just turned around to every one of my mates who were there with me. I was like, he is the future of this country. He is the future of our national team. He's undoubtedly, we talk about, I love John McGinn and I love Andy Robertson, I love Kieran Tierney, but Billy Gilmour is 19 years of age. This guy is the future of our national team. He's got so much. Callum, not just moving forward and not just in the middle, we're good at the back as well. I feel like all over the park, we just had so many positive. Is tonight about using the motivation, using the encouragement that we got against England and thinking to ourselves, right, okay, they might be the World Cup runners-up, they might be a decent side, Croatia, but we didn't struggle against England, and there's no reason why we should struggle tonight. No,
definitely. I think we just need to take all the momentum from Friday's game and just put it right into this. I think also it will be a bit of a big miss, i.e. the situation with Gilmour, because as you said, he was phenomenal the other night. I think that's near off every one of his main debuts he's made. He's went 1 man of the match. It goes to show how good he is at such a young age. He is tremendous. See the way he wants to come in and take the ball, even if he's close to his own back line, he'll still take it in the turn. I think he'd done it to Mount at a point. He came in, took the ball and just spun him. Right. Played it away, he was phenomenal. Then going to the back line, I thought Grant Hanley was an absolute god the other night. He's phenomenal.
He's Maldini, isn't he?
It was a Maldini-esque performance. He was ridiculous the other night. It was so good.
Well, look, Friday night was brilliant. I don't know, do you have anything else before we move on to the bigger issue, which is tonight's game? Anything you I'll just open up the floor, throw in anything about Friday all you want, because to me it was just the atmosphere and everything was fantastic, and the Scotland fans being there and being down in the city, I've honestly never really felt anything like it. I've been lucky enough to go on European away trips with Celtic and such, but just the sort of togetherness of the Scotland fans was brilliant, and I feel like that's what we need tonight. If it was up to me, I'd be leading the charge down to George Square pre-game to get the exact same feeling. But is there anything you'd like to throw? I'll open the floor about Friday night.
I'll just pick up on that, Ryan. Like, I think we've covered on the part where we're sensational, but in the stadium as well, the fans were brilliant, and all in London as well, but especially in the stadium, because you're expecting to get down there and the majority of the fans to be in there to be English. And for what I saw, it looked like there was more Scots than English. I don't know if that's true or not, but it definitely sounded like so. Especially in the last few minutes, you hear Flower of Scotland being sung as well for the fans, and they absolutely loved it, and they were brilliant. And I think that even spurred on the players as well, just to go that extra mile when England were pinning us in the first 15 minutes or so, just to, come on boys, we can get through this. So they were sensational, and hopefully at Hampden tonight it's similar, because I think it will be fucking 10,000 Scots there, 12,000 Scots. So more of the same, please.
Well, of course, we've got a TSF representative at the game tonight. Mr. Buick is going to be there.
Yes, he is.
What a jammy gate, man. Don't know how he's
I know.
managed to mangle that, but he's done it and he's going to be there. Hopefully provide some good content for us. If he's not too steaming, that is. Seen an interesting comment in the chat there a minute ago I wanted to touch on. It's funny enough that we've not seen any of the lad for Button, the Button supporter. He's not been piping up since the result. I wonder if he's took the medicine from the draw. But yeah, let's move on to what was the bad news of the England game. Following that, the next day or the next couple of days, we found out that Billy Gilmour has tested positive for COVID-19. He will not be involved now. He wouldn't be involved in any of Scotland's games until a potential quarter-final. If we,
he'll be back for the quarter-finals, which is good. So
he's not going to be out for tonight, which now begs the question: what does Steve Clarke do now? We've all had our say about Steve Clarke's tactics. Before we come on to who we think that plays some, Callum, you were talking about what Gilmour done the other night against Mason Mount. It was probably the worst thing that could have happened to the team following that. I mean, I said to myself, obviously we don't want to miss any player, but if I was to pick one player out of that entire squad that we had to miss for the final game of the group, one player that we couldn't miss, it would be Billy Gilmour, and he has to go, Callum. It's massive, isn't it? Oh,
it's horrible. Because as we're saying, the fact of how well he played, like, not just him, but also every other player in that park for us the other night was phenomenal. I thought, like, there was not one player that down game. That's the best game I've seen Callum McGregor play in the best part of a year.
Yeah,
That's how much it says. But I think I think we definitely will notice how much a big miss he is, but you can only hope whoever steps into Philly's place, they step up and do the exact same as he done.
Do you have faith, Div, that Steve Clarke will sort this out? Do you have any preference as to what should happen? Or are you thinking it might just be a case of reverting back to what we had against the Czech Republic?
I hope no. I hope it isn't, to be honest. I think Steve Clarke knows he made a mistake in the team selection in the first game. He even said in the press conference last night that Billy Gilmour will be starting this game. So that tells you a lot, you know, the amount of changes that they brought into the second game and how good we played as well when they let the players off the leash a wee bit to go and express themselves. So for me, I'm going to go bold. Yeah, like Abby said,
I'm going to go bold.
I'm going to go bold. I would love to see John McGinn maybe fall back one way. Callum McGregor. I think Callum McGregor's got to start now because, as you said, he done really well. And the best I've seen Callum McGregor, obviously the other night was good, but the best I've seen him was when he was along Ryan Jack at Serbia for Scotland. Mm-hmm. And he's needed that guy. He needs a six in there that's going to go and control the game and let Callum McGregor go and do some of the dirty work and do other stuff well. So he's always needed that balance. But for me, I'm going Nato and David Turnbull. I'm going to go David Turnbull. I'm going to go him because we have had a number of set pieces, corners, free kicks, the whole shebang. But I think Billy Gilmour standing over the free kicks for Andy Robertson. Good deliveries of the ball. But I'm putting him in, not just for his technical ability, because I think he's the best technical player out with the other guys that are on the bench that could come in. For that set piece, for the set pieces, which I think could be really important, because I were getting some success off it, like Lyndon Dykes the other night, where we are setting ball. But I just think David Turnbull could be the difference and just put it on a napper. Just put it on big Grant Hanley's head, you know, just put it on the right guy's nut. And I think I'd love to see him. I mean, it could backfire because it might be a wee bit too attacking and such, but I just think going for the first game, I didn't think Armstrong worked with McGinn. I thought they were picking up too much in the similar spaces. I'd love to see David Turnbull get an opportunity. So that's me. I'm going bold.
You're going bold. I'm going to go Bainha.
Yes.
I know if David was here, he'd be rallying himself around Stuart Armstrong. I'm very much inclined to agree with you, Dev. I think we need to now make that kind of that bold sort of change. Like if it works, fantastic. If it doesn't work, we went for it and we tried it. McGinley, see you sitting there nodding your head away and such. Are you in the same sort of boat? Do you think, as a Celtic fan, of course, you've had three of us here are Celtic fans and Dev's a Rangers fan, but we've had the courtesy of watching David Turnbull all season. Is the attributes that he brings to a football team what Scotland needs tonight?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, because we need to go out and win the game, we need a sort of player that's good on set pieces, that can hit a shot out of nowhere as well. He's that sort of guy. He's that sort of wild card that we can put into the team. He can hit a shot from nowhere. He can get on set pieces. I don't know if Steve Clarke will go that way. I don't know if he'll play it safe or. I I don't know if he would go for Armstrong instead of him, but I would like to see Turnbull. My heart says Turnbull. I'd love to see him because he's done it. He's done it against Netherlands, Netherlands in the friendly, so he can do it against good opposition. And Netherlands will get 9 points from their group. And I know that was a friendly, but it's probably better opposition than Croatia's when you think of Croatia as an Asian team. Although he's not maybe the most mobile midfielder, he's probably still got the legs on maybe Modric because he's not as mobile as what he used to be. This might get clapped, I know, but we'll see what happens. I'd love to see Turnbull on that team.
Yeah, Turnbull for me is someone who can come in and make a big difference tonight in an area which I think we have. And yeah, we were great, I think, at creating some good chances against Czech Republic and England. We've done a lot of things right. But I think the kind of, as you say, the word the wild card sort of feeling that Turnbull brings, I feel like he can create something out of nothing that we might need when it gets desperate tonight. Because ultimately, it's going to get desperate.
Aye, potentially. We're not going to... Cal McGregor's got a big performance tonight as well because he needs to go now, in my opinion, and do that Billy Gilmour role. Yeah. You know, and I'd love nothing more for him to go and do exactly the same as Billy Gilmour because what a performance it would need to be for him to do that. What I would say, though, is if Armstrong does start, I would like to see a change somewhere else. I would like to see somebody else come in. And this might be a wee bit controversial. Somebody asked me on Twitter yesterday, do you drop Stephen O'Donnell? Do you drop him? I don't think dropping is the right word. And it might be a wee bit controversial, but if an Armstrong does play, I would like to see potentially a Nathan Patterson, a James Forrest, or a Ryan Fraser going to that right wing-back position. Because I just think in this game, offense is going to be our best form of attack or defense or whatever the fuck they say. So I'd maybe like to see that. So
that's how it works then.
That's how it works, mate. It might be I'm not going to go too bold, you know, and say Turnbull needs to start and somebody needs to replace Stephen O'Donnell because I think that might be going a wee bit too far. But if Armstrong does start, I'd like to see somebody on that right wing back position, and I'm not saying drop him. I'm saying replace him because you see, this is what happens in tournaments. They rotate, don't they?
Yeah, that's
you know, right. Like you look. It's not, but you've got a strong squad there, so why not use it?
You look at Belgium. I think Belgium now in the tournament only have 3 players, I believe now, who haven't played in this tournament. Roberto Martinez made it his aim last night to get as many of the guys some time and get them a chance to play. I can't remember the exact 3 players, but I think he said as well, I think there was talk of Lukaku wouldn't have even played if he wasn't chasing that golden boot, for example. They made changes and they wanted to use the squad to its best, you know, to as wide as it can, really.
Was it not Italy that actually brought on the sub goalkeeper because they wanted everyone to get sort of game time at the Euros? Because Sirigu came on the other night as well.
Well, there we go. Get John McLaughlin on for 5 minutes at the end of the game.
Someone in the comments will be happy with that. They're shouting for John McLaughlin.
I've seen a conversation about John McLaughlin going on. Yeah, there's options for Steve Clark. There's certainly options. So let's kind of move in. We had that Gilmour conversation, which has led us there. But let's move to the final portion of the show and the main portion of the show, which is tonight's game. It is massive. It's huge. It's the World Cup runners-up at the end of the day we are playing. This is not an easy game. Now, when we started talking about this tournament as soon as we knew what our groups were, the ideal situation was beat the Czech Republic and try and get a point from the other 2 games. We lost to the Czech Republic, and now we need to go and beat Croatia. That is the situation we find ourselves in. It's not ideal, of course. It's not the first game to win that would have put us in a remarkable position, but it's certainly a Scotland team which I'm not giving up hope on, and especially after Friday night, I'm very much excited. Now, Croatia, in their group so far, they have lost to England, of course, 1-0, in which they looked incredibly poor to me. They looked very, very poor. And they drew with the Czech Republic the other day. Patrick Schick scored for the Czech Republic, who's on 3 goals now in this competition. Yep. And and Croatia's goal was scored by Perisic in the first half. So, Croatia, Ryan, how do you beat them?
I don't know. It's probably I don't want to say it's an easier game than England, but we'll have more chances, I think, in this game than we did against England. I think it'll be. I mean, Croatia aren't the team they were 4 or 5 years ago when they got to the final. I think the players are aging. You've got players like Brozovic and Modric that aren't getting any younger. The only sort of young midfielder is Kovacic, but even then he doesn't really get his game for Chelsea all that often. We just need to be better than them. Basically, we need to use the home court advantage, and get on the front foot and take our chances. We need to score. We need to score at this tournament.
We need to score.
That's the thing. And Dev, I'll come to you here. Croatia, right? As I never watched Croatia against the Czech Republic for obvious reasons. I never watched that game. But I watched the England game. And I looked back on the Croatia game against the Czech Republic as well. And this is a Croatia side who have offered almost nothing. They had one big chance against the Czech Republic. They haven't even amassed a total of one expected goal. I think they've been under one expected goal for both. I know everybody's not a fan of XG, but just to put it in perspective,
I'm impressed. You're taking that out.
Just to put into perspective of what they've done on the park, what they've created. They're a team against England that offered nothing, and by all accounts, it looked as though they didn't offer very much against the Czech Republic. If they want to play like that against Scotland, surely that's our bread and butter because we get to attack the game.
Mm-hmm. Aye, definitely. I mean, as I says earlier on the show, Scotland have had the most shots out of anybody in the group. So we're creating chances. It's just about taking them. And I think that's where this game will be won and lost, and the attacking third. Who's able to take their chances? Because as you say, they have got big players like Ivan Perisic that stepped up the other night and got them a draw. They've got big players, but we've got big players as well. So I'm just hoping we can get an early goal. What I would say though is they set up my 4-3-3 in their first game and they changed it to a 4-2-3-1 in the second. But one mainstay in there is the boy Gvardiol at left back who appears to have replaced Borna Barisic. He's either replaced him or Borna Barisic is injured. It seems like he's replaced him, but he's a centre half by trade. Yep. So let's try and get after him, man. Let's try and get down that right-hand side and get after him because I've seen him versus
that links up nicely with what you were saying about getting a Forrest, a Fraser and a Patterson on because we get someone who
definitely. Aye, definitely, because I think you can get after him. Phil Foden had him on toast a couple of times at Wembley. The one he cuts inside, that's on Gvardiol and hits the post. Mm-hmm. And he's a big guy. He doesn't look like a left back. And he's a wee bit gun shy as well when he gets up into that position and getting balls into the box. So I don't know quite if Croatia don't know the best starting 11 or the best shape, having seen them change shape in both games. So it'll be interesting to see if they do start with the 4-3-3 today or the 4-2-3-1. Watch this, they'll play Borna Barisic though. They'll fucking change it up.
They'll be like, you play here, you know some of the players, we're putting you in the park, I'm going to be surprised. Well, apparently you're talking about they don't know their best 11, and I remember after the World Cup final, the manager came out and claimed he was the second best coach in the world because they were runners up in the World Cup. So he should know what he's doing if he's the second best coach in the world. Callum.
Lovren and all, he said that he should have been in for, what was it? Best Ballon d'Or or something? Aye.
Best defender in the world, one of the best defenders in the world.
He loves a good voice.
Aye. Callum, the thing that worries me about Scotland, and the thing that always seems to let us down is always those moments of complacency. The way we conceded against the Czech Republic, number one, let's get them playing an obvious one out the way, the halfway line shot that reaches the back of the net, that shouldn't be happening. It seemed like there was a bit of complacency from the likes of David Marshall in that situation. The first goal we conceded from the header as well, we're not really switched on. Can even take it back to the game against Serbia, we conceded in the 90th minute. When they got their goal, I feel like we just weren't switched on. Does it give you a bit of the fear? Because this is what my thinking is. When you've got players like Luka Modric and you've got players like Ivan Perisic and all the rest of it who can really create anything out of nothing, does maybe the switch off mentality that happens just very briefly worry you that Scotland could give away something cheap?
See, I think that's where the biggest fear is. If we concede a goal, it's going to be something stupid. I don't feel it'll be an absolute masterclass of goal. As you said, it'll be somebody switches off, so don't pick up the man or whatever, and we lose it there. That's my only fear I feel if we were to play the likes of like Forrest or such at the wing-back position. We don't have that defensive mindset if we do that. Also, I want us to go. We need to go out and win regardless. That's what has to happen, simple as that. But it's just the fact that the lineup, that's what makes me think we go that bit defensive. Do we go the exact same team as our night, also minus Gilmour, and just try and replicate it as much as possible? It's a pure hard one to decide for me. Do you just go for it or do you sit in and hope to take a chance?
Remember though, Callum, offence is your best form of attack, mate. All right? If Ivan Perisic starts on the left-hand side, he's not going to want to run backwards, is he? He's not. No. So if we can pin them back, then that'll be absolutely huge. the biggest player we need to stop playing is obviously Luka Modric. Like, there's been so much made out of this guy being over the hill, this and that. I watched him earlier in the season in the El Clasico, and he came on and absolutely bossed it.
Yep.
Scored a goal.
Class never
You know, he's a quality player. We need to get on him today, and we cannot let him dictate this game. What I've been so impressed with Scotland though in this tournament, I don't know if you agree with, I thought we have had more than the ball than I expected, even in the Czech Republic game, in the England game as well. But we used it with more quality in the England game. So if we can go and control the ball today, like, that's exciting.
And you're hoping, Ryan, that someone steps up to control that ball. You know, we need that. I just want like a John McGinn just to come out and fire. And just
a moment.
See, when you see John, I know. Well, we've not even touched on the fact we've not scored a goal yet. I want us to leave this tournament.
Boys, have you heard the stat though? Scotland have only ever scored 4 goals at the Euros, and every single one of them have been in the last match day. So it's written in the stars. It's written in the stars tonight.
But you look, again, like, for example, we watch a lot of the Premier League football when we get a chance, but you look at John McGinn, when he's playing for Villa, he likes to take the ball, he likes to charge with it, and he likes to do all these different things, spray it about, and he's just very inventive. I feel like, and maybe it's because of the way people have been defending him, we've not quite had that, but he's been instructed, we've not quite had that same sort of Villa John McGinn for me at this tournament yet. Get him at the night and get him to do something, and you're creating more in my eyes.
Yeah, especially in this midfield. Like I said, that midfield's aging. It's not getting any younger. I think this is the night that he comes alive. We need a John McGinn moment. I think this is the night. Tonight's the night will be when he truly stamps his authority on the game.
And watch him get a Beckham moment, get sent off.
You can see your bits of quality with like McTominay and Tierney and Robertson. All of these guys are playing down south, so their quality's rubbing off on maybe the boys that are playing in the Scottish League. It's good to have that sort of mix of boys that are playing in Scotland and guys that are playing in the top league down south. Yep. I think there's a good wee mix in this team. It's definitely working out.
Does that mean you want Stephen O'Donnell to sign for Celtic?
No, I'm not there yet, unfortunately. 29 years old, we need to go for somebody younger. I don't want to talk about Celtic.
Yeah, so look, I don't know if you want to throw anything else in about the game tonight before we get on to predictions. If there's any talking points you feel like I've missed and you want me to...
The last one I'd maybe touch on is we're talking about we've not had that goal scoring touch yet. Lyndon Dykes has played in the 2 games. Che Adams has come on, and I think he's just been an absolute level up. There is a conversation there. Does Lyndon Dykes come out and does Nisbet come in? I just want to get your guys' thoughts on that. I thought the two of them put in a really good shift the other night, but I do think personally that Nisbet's the best finisher on the squad. But what would you say? Do you take out Dykes and do you bring in Nisbet, or do you stick by that too? Because it does feel though that it's once the first goal goes in, it's going to click. But there's certainly a conversation to be had there.
I'll let you kick off, Callum. What do you think?
For me, I think you start Dykes to also you bring Nisbet on later in the game. You put him up against tired legs. So if he's playing against legs that have been running for, say, give him the last 20 minutes. Seeing he's running against tired legs that ran a bit for 70 minutes action, I think you'll get the best out of Nisbet because he's pacey, he can get in behind. He'll have a dig. He's got the confidence in himself as well. Dykes, I don't feel, apart from the other night, has the confidence to turn in, hit a dig for, say, just outside the box, turn in, blast it. I feel like he'd rather turn in, play it out wide and get a ball into the box. For me, you start Dykes, but bring Nisbet on with 20-25 to play.
Okay. McGinley?
One thing I will say, and you know, I criticise him all the time. Lee Griffiths will be kicking himself that he's not in this side, because if he'd have had, I'm not his biggest fan, but if he'd have had some of those chances, I feel like he would have stuck 1 or 2 of them away. I mean, I don't really want to bring him up, but those chances were there to be taken. But I think he will stick with the 2 that he had in the last game, Dykes and Adams. I'd like to see that sort of goal that Adams scored against San Marino. I'd like to see that confidence in him to take a dig, to take a shot. But I think he'll just go with the 2 that he's the tried and tested. Really, I think it's almost there. Something will come of it tonight. I think, hopefully, fingers crossed. Anyway,
I'm glad you brought it up, Div, because it was actually something I was thinking about quite a lot this morning, and it just completely slipped my mind as we've done this stream because we're talking so much about Gilmour and all the rest of it. I think that Clark will go with Dykes and Adams again. I think that Nisbet could make an appearance towards the end, as Callum suggested. But if I was Steve Clark, if I was the bald one in the dugout, I'd be starting Nisbet tonight. I'd be taking out Dykes and I'd be putting Nisbet in my opinion. He's not had his chance yet. I think that out of all of the strikers, he's scored the most out of all of them in this domestic campaign. He's
the best finisher, aye.
He's the best finisher. He's scored the most out of all three of them. For me, Nisbet deserves a chance tonight. And by offering that something different, could create a different spark in the final third for Scotland. So if it was me that was managing the team, I'd have Nisbet in there tonight. But I do think it'll be Dykes and Adams would score. I think he'll keep the faith in it.
Well, I'll say though, and what you said, Callum, if he does go with Dykes, I think he does need to give, if it's not working and we're still needing a goal, he definitely needs to give Nisbet like a half an hour. Like, he can't be putting Nisbet on with 10 minutes to go and expecting him to get up to the speed of the game. If it's not working with 60 minutes gone or so, he needs to make a double substitution. If he doesn't start your Forrest or whatever, get Forrest on at the same time as Nisbet, or get Nisbet on. He needs to make these decisions early. I think he can't be doing it in the last 10 minutes. So,
well, we've got the most of our viewers here. This is probably the highest we've been at the entire stream. And before we get on to the final part of predicting what we think the scores will be this evening, make sure to go and check out our Who Knows Wins League and join in on the fun there. I believe it starts tonight, doesn't it? So this is the last chance to enter. The link is in the description of this live stream or this video if you're watching later on, or you can join via the Who Knows Wins app by using the code TSFPOD. So that's TSFPOD. Come in, win some cash, and yeah, help out the channel as well. It was an interesting second round there, Div, wasn't it? Adam, I think, of TSFP walked away with some of the money.
We get 3 winners of $50 in the last one. So we made it a bit hard. We've done 12 games in the last one. We made it even harder this time. 100% of the pot is going to the winner. We're not doing no second places here, no third places, much like Scotland tonight. We're going in to win, right? So nice. First place gets all the marbles, and also you're pitting teams to win and both teams to score. So there's 20 points up for grabs instead of 10. So we're getting a winner, and they're getting 100% of the pot. We need to get with a bang on this. But the people that have watched the show have smashed it, to be fair. Like, the 2-year pots have been class so far, so hopefully we can get them up a wee bit. Deadline for that's obviously 8 p.m. tonight, so get involved, people, and try and beat. Ryan's currently bottom out of all the TSF lads, so...
am I actually at the bottom?
Aye. If you're a newcomer the night, you might actually amass more points than Ryan's actually amassed all tournament, so get involved, troops.
Oh dear, it's not been good for me. I've just been going for Germany wins and hoping for the best. Of course, tonight as well, we've got Czech Republic taking on England now. Interestingly enough, if the Czech Republic win tonight and we win tonight, England wouldn't finish in the top 2. I don't think so. I don't know.
England, we win 2-0.
We need to win 2-0. I think that's what it is. So if we won 2-0 and then the Czech Republic won, we would finish above England in the group. So that would be
glorious, and also you would get runner up of the like Poland Sweden group in Spain and such. Watch us finish second though and get Spain. I
actually want to talk a wee bit about this so far in the tournament as we come to the last couple of groups. I'm going to go around everybody and just give me a quick fire answers to these. Favourite team to watch so far? Who do you think the best player has been? And do you still think that the team you originally predicted to win? Who do you think will win the tournament from what you've seen so far? So again, I'll start with you.
So best team that I've watched so far. In terms of most consistent, I would probably have to say the Netherlands. I think they've been a joy to watch. Wijnaldum and Memphis have been so good. And they've got that big guy up front that's doing the business as well, Weghorst. He was linked to us in 2016. I remember his name.
Scotland?
I know. He's got a Scottish granny somewhere.
Throw in your worst team as well to watch. Who do you think the worst has been?
Boys, the worst has got to be everybody's dark horses, including myself, Turkey. They've just been getting scalped about the place like nobody's business.
When it comes to me, I'm not going to say Turkey. I've got somebody else who I think I've been absolutely bad to watch. Yep, I've got somebody else. So, who's your worst, Ryan? Would you say Turkey?
I'd probably say I put them in disappointing because I thought they would be a lot better than what they are. They've just leaked goals. I thought they looked all right in the first half against Italy in the first day, but they've been terrible. And what was the last one?
Best player to watch so far, and who do you think will win it?
Best player to watch, Lukaku. I think Lukaku and De Bruyne. if you could even put them as a sort of partnership, the two of them have been sublime in the 2 games they've played together. And I still think the same team will win. I think France still have another couple of gears up to go up, I'll be honest. I think they're qualified anyway. They will be. So I think they will improve, and they always seem to bring it out when the going gets tough in the later rounds. So I still think France will win it.
For me, best team to watch so far has been Italy. I think Italy have been fantastic. I've really enjoyed them. Some really good players in their team. Best player to watch so far for me has been Mr. Robin Gosens of Germany. He's just been fantastic. I've been bigging him up on Twitter. Absolutely love him. I've officially started the Robin Gosens CSC. Just loving the guy. So he's been the best player to watch for me so far. Worst team to watch for me is Spain. I think they have been honking. Honestly, just absolutely honking. They're rotten. Absolutely rotten. We were watching them on Saturday night in the pub in London. I was just sitting thinking to myself, Christ almighty, what's happened? Like the way they've fallen is unbelievable. And do I still think that Germany will win the tournament? Yes, I do. I still think Germany will win the tournament. Dev, yourself.
What am I going then? What's the questions again?
So, best team. Who's been the best team to watch so far?
I would agree with you, Ryan. I think Italy. I think they've been the most impressive. The fact that they went against a good Wales side as well last night and made. I think it was only one player out of the 11 that had played in any other games, and they still won the game. Tells you a lot about the strength of their squad and the style of them. Just wow! Do you see Roberto Mancini doing his post match with his wee jacket draped to his shoulder?
Brilliant.
He's just a fashion icon as well as a unreal player and good manager, man. Jeez, I would say Italy so far been the most impressive, although Germany were top, I thought, versus Portugal, and they were they were good against France as well. Yeah. Like France just got the goal, Germany were good. My winners were Portugal, but they've got a big game coming versus France. Like if they can get through that, I'll stick by them. But Germany have surprised me, Ryan. They have. I thought they were good against France in that result versus Portugal. So I'd say I'm leaning towards maybe Germany going all the way here at the moment. Wow. And I'll stick with Turkey because they get a lot of like people saying they were going to do well, and the results going into the tournament were half decent. They beat some good sides, beat France, beat Netherlands, but they've just been getting battered all about the place. Yep. So they have been leaking goals for fun. So I would go with them. Favourite player of the tournament as well. I'd agree with you, Ryan. I think Lukaku's been great. Cyril Mobley's been good as well, and Insigne. They've been good, but big Lukaku just looks in the form of his life, shape of his life, just bullies people, doesn't he? He's just ferocious.
That finish last night for his goal was simple, but you see a lot of strikers nowadays missing that. You see a lot of strikers just try to hit it right to the keeper or do something fancy, and he does what a striker should do. He blasts.
Have you seen the video with Carragher when he does it with Carragher? He says, "Once I've got my back here, I know I'm scoring. Like I've basically won this duel." I knew he was scoring the moment he got it. I was like, but De Bruyne as well in that game was unreal. Can I just do a quick honourable mention in terms of a player as well that I've just thought about? That Denzel Dumfries for Netherlands. He's been good. An absolute baller.
And Callum, yourself, what's your 4 answers there?
Right, we need to run through the questions again.
Right, so team that you've enjoyed watching the most, best team so far.
I think I have to go with again. I think Holland. They've been quality to watch. Just everything they've done, it's been so fluid. They've just no seem to lack anything, I don't feel.
Yep, cool. Worst team
or Russia. By far, Russia have had a howler. I didn't expect them to do unbelievably well, but they have been rotten. The full tournament haven't impressed me at all. Best player, I think for me, De Bruyne. He's just his levels above everybody else, midfielder wise. See when he takes the ball and turns, I'm convinced he sees double everything. Like he'll see any option that's in front of him. He is an unreal player, and he's proved it this tournament. And everybody that try to make the comparison with him and Bruno Fernandes, I'm not having. This tournament so far has proven that. I know
that was targeted at me, right? Just you leave me alone. And you originally predicted France to win the tournament, didn't you?
Aye.
Do you still think
I backed France the last two. Aye, I think as McGinley said, they've still got levels to go. Like they've not had to come out of second gear. Their games have just been so laid back, just taking the ball and controlling it. So I think going to like the round of 16, that I think they'll step it up again. It'll be a masterclass to see from Deschamps.
Another couple of teams that I've been surprised with is Wales. I think they've been top. They've been really good. And I think they've got a good draw in the last 16 as well. And also, another team I've enjoyed watching, and I don't know if that's just because their stadium's full, is Hungary. I thought they gave a good account of themselves. Even against Portugal, it was a good game to watch. Like, there was plenty of opportunities. It was entertaining. The fans were right into it. And see if it was down to me, man, I'd have the final there instead of Wembley, because you're going to get 60-odd thousand in Hungary and absolute screaming their heads off. Whereas down in Wembley, you're going to get, 45,000? Get it over there, man.
Between there or Copenhagen, because the atmosphere last night in Copenhagen was incredible.
Yeah,
that reminds me of like Tynecastle or something. The Copenhagen one, didn't it?
I know, it's very close to the park, innit? I've got 3% of my laptop, so let's hurry up and run through this and get us finished before I end up cutting out. Everybody's moving at a slow sort of pace for me, so it's getting worrying that I'm just going to die. Predictions for tonight. If you don't want to jinx it, feel free not to join in.
Don't you say it then, Ryan?
Fuck off.
You're ready to jinx Gilmour, don't use
it. Ryan, quickly, Nate, talk us through it. Just give us a score.
2-0.
2-0. Oh, brilliant. Okay. Dev?
I think it's going to be tight. I think I'm going to go 1-0 to Scotland, and I'll go with a late goal. Nisbet off the bench. There you go. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted versus England as well. I wanted the supposed Farmers League player for the Farmers League to score. Wanted that big time.
Fair. Callum?
2-1 Scotland.
2-1 Scotland. So we've got a 2-0, 2-1, 1-0. I am going to go for 1-0 Scotland as well. I'm going to say 1-0. I think we're going to keep it tight. And do you know what, Dev? I agree with you. Nisbet
Let's do this.
And score the winner. I agree with you. That's what's going to happen. That wraps us up for today's show. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you to everybody who has been watching us as we talk through, of course, Scotland and a little bit as well of the whole Euros tournament. It's been a great tournament to watch so far. I love these international tournaments. They are absolutely tremendous. Lads, thanks for joining me. It has been. I love how Nisbet. I said Nisbet. David has joined in the chat right towards the end. I'll leave that message on screen for us to end it off. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to check out the Who Knows Wins link in the description below. And from us over here at TSF, we will see you all next